Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa.
Well, Teresa, Halloween is approaching. That's a big holiday.
Big, it's, I don't know. For some, yes.
Yeah.
It is. It's a huge commercial,
Yeah.
big moneymaker, right? But
Yeah.
for me, you know what it signifies?
What's that?
No more summer.
Well, but you're right. Some people celebrate it and some don't. They make a big deal. Some people struggle with the attachment to the dark side and, with witchcraft and all that. But like you said, I think it's evolved more to just a commercial holiday. There's no really attachment to that because it's a fun holiday. People
Oh, it
get
can be.
all into it, adults and kids. It's fun to dress up. And my favorite part, we get to ignore our diets and we don't have to feel guilty about it. I can indulge because it's Halloween and you get to lighten things up for the day.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, you're right. Some people get all into it. I attended a meeting on Zoom this week,
Yeah.
and the facilitator came in costume, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
no one during the whole meeting, no one mentioned it. And at the end, someone came off of mute and said, "Who are you dressed as?" And she was like, "Y'all don't know?" Right? And I knew when I saw her who she was dressed as. So
Okay.
right now there's a show on Disney called Agatha All
Okay.
Along. Are you
Uh,
familiar with
no,
okay.
no.
She was
And
dressed as
Teresa, what are
Agatha.
you doing watching Disney?
Girl, see, now we're gonna have to digress. That's my favorite. I shouldn't. There are only two shows that I watch at least monthly. That's Black Panther and
Uh-huh.
the Avengers. So,
Okay.
so yeah, I live on that channel because it takes me to a place where I relax if I get a
Yeah.
chance to sit down and actually watch TV. But that's my favorite Disney channel. Disney is my favorite. I'd rather watch Disney than stream
That's
anything else.
I see things I want to watch on Disney, but we don't have Disney. That's extra
Mm,
for us. So no, we don't have it.
mm. Yeah,
So
we have it.
but yeah, I tell you, people get all into Halloween and during every time it's we celebrate Halloween at the yoga studio and people dress up
Yeah. Hmm.
in the costumes. I never do. It's all I can do to do my regular routine, but they have all kinds of costumes and they look like they would be a lot to have on in that heat for 90 minutes. But it's fun to watch and we really have a good time when we do that session for Halloween. So,
Yeah.
but folks, in honor of the upcoming Halloween holiday, Teresa and I are going to talk about things that maybe frighten us or that we know typically frighten others. I'm going to start it off with my personal big fear, which is scary movies. Teresa, I don't know when it started. I don't know what happened to me in my childhood, but I am telling you, I have a problem with scary movies. And even though people will try, their family and friends will try to sit there and dissect it and make me see that, Lou, that's not real blood. Lou, they're not really using a chainsaw. And intellectually, I know that, but it looks so real that I avoid scary movies. I'm telling you, at all costs, I don't watch anything at home that I know has a scary scene, but try as I might to be proactive and know what I'm going to be seeing, sometimes I miss it and they slip something in there. When I go to the movies and I'm not prepared, I'm telling you, I watch the movie, I put my hand over my face. I peek out between two fingers because I'm trying to see when this will be over. But seriously, my whole hand is over my face. And then if that's not working and I absolutely can't take it, I get up and I leave. And I don't leave in a way that doesn't draw attention. I am sprinting out of the movie theater. I have done that when I've only been in there for 30 minutes. And I've left the whole movie. I cannot take it. And when I tell you, I'm serious, I will have a nightmare that night about whatever frightened me. And in the nightmare, I'm always the victim, the one that happened to on screen. I'm telling you, it's bad. I can't take it. They make these movies so real now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's too
So
much.
we actually have that in common. I didn't realize that about you. I don't do
Are you?
scary.
I didn't
No.
know that. Really? You
No.
don't do them either?
And I found out the hard way. So so honestly, um skipped school one day, not proud of that, but was a senior and all seniors did it. And we went to a movie, right? And it was a scary movie. And when I tell you, I had never seen a scary movie before that. Um, it was scary. It was one of the 13s, I think.
Uh-huh.
Something. It was
Yeah.
something. I can't remember, but what I do remember is something popping out of the screen, and my girlfriend screamed and grabbed her chest,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
I was scared too, but I was focused on her. We ended up having her heart, her breathing, her heart was impacted by that movie.
No.
Had to call 911. We all got
Teresa.
in trouble.
Teresa. No.
I have not
What?
gone to see a scary movie since. I have not
Teresa.
watched one at home. I don't do scary.
You had to call?
Yes,
No.
we had to call 911. She had she didn't realize, but then she had a heart condition she didn't know, and it frightened her to the point where her heart, she couldn't breathe and her heart had stopped beating or something. I don't know. We had to
Oh
call our
my.
parents. It was awful.
Oh,
The one time
I,
I skipped school and I got busted in a way, but
and
she,
that's a big way to be busted. That's a horrible thing.
yes, yes. And that's what happened. I don't, now I have to admit, I did watch a Jordan Peele movie.
Yeah,
It
I've
was
seen
the
one.
one, it was and I know he's scary, but it's psychological. It's different. It's a different type of scary.
Yeah.
And and my family talked me into it. Of course,
That's what
I
I
had
watched it too. I
this was
think,
at home.
yeah,
I had my comforter ready to go over my face. You know, I was ready for that type of
yeah, I've done
thing.
that.
But Nia, my daughter assured me that it was more funny than scary. And you know, I did manage to laugh at some of the what is it called? Not irony, but the satire
Hmm.
in the movie. Um, and I got through it, but I don't care to see another one
No.
of his movies.
See, and I'll
I
tell
don't.
you, wanting to spend time with family, that will get you. That's what happened to me. We were at a family reunion, and that was the movie everybody wanted to see. Jordan Peele's, it was Get Out. And I think that was one of the,
That
first
was the
ones.
movie.
Yeah.
That was the
And
movie.
so I didn't want to miss family night with my family, even though I know I can't take it. So I tried to talk myself through it. And I actually did make it through. But I was looking through my hands most of the time. And I too had a security blanket with me and I would cover up as needed. But yeah, I just have a problem. People love them. The gorier, the better. I have friends and family. It's like if blood is shooting out of every pore, that's good stuff with them to them. And
Well,
I
and
can't take
my they talked me into watching another movie called The Purge. They swore it was
I've heard
not
of that.
scary,
I've heard of that.
but I it was one of those times when I just got up and walked out of the room. I could not
Yeah.
get through that
Yeah.
movie, and the way that they were killing each other, I just couldn't
Yeah.
do it. I couldn't do
Yeah.
it, and I was like, sorry,
Yeah.
I
And
can't.
it's not for me, it's not even limited to just like the horror movies, but if I watch a movie about slavery and there is so, you know, so much violence in it, that takes me somewhere that it's just hard for me to see um visually. So yeah, that can be hard too. I'm trying to remember the one 12 Years a Slave. I didn't
I
walk
read the
out,
book.
but that, yeah, that was just so it's just seeing, I think, scenes like that. So I go from
Right.
the horror shows to the horror of slavery. I have a problem with
Yeah.
both of those. Yeah,
Right.
I do. I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
movie, and I can't even think of the name of it. It wasn't a horror movie, but it was it was a it was a movie about the women who were fighting wars back during in Africa.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Was that the one with was Viola Davis in that?
it's Viola
Yeah,
Davis is the
yeah,
lead. I
yeah,
went
yeah, yeah. That was good. That was
Yeah,
good.
Robert and I went to the movies to see
Yeah,
that.
we saw that.
I literally did not see. I heard the sounds, but I didn't watch it.
Well,
My face was covered the entire time, and I
I
would have
did
left
that.
had we not come together. And I
Yeah,
have not wanted to see, you know how I see a movie at the theater and it's like, oh, I can't wait till it's streaming. I'll watch it again. No, I will not
yeah,
ever watch that again
yeah.
because I can't see movies either that hurt children or women. Like if
Right,
I
right,
can't,
right. And
even
I'm
though
trying.
she was able to hold her own, but the fact that men wanted to fight her, like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
them, I just, oh, it was awful.
And
Mm-mm.
see, Teresa, even if I go with people, I just go and sit down in the lobby. You know, it's like,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that's a good idea. But
I
now you
just,
understand why I stay with Disney.
yeah, I do. I think it was the Woman King.
The
I think that
Woman
was,
King, you're
yeah,
right. That was it.
yeah.
The Woman
That
King.
that was hard too. But some people, like I said, they can just take that. But you know, the horror ones where there's blood spurting everywhere, like I said, my reaction to that is I typically have a nightmare where whatever I was seeing in the scene is now happening to me in the nightmare. I'm panting, I'm running, I'm in distress. And then when I see the brutality of slavery, my reaction to that is I'm a little funny with people after that of different races who haven't done anything to me that day, but they speak and it's like, please get out of my way. I'm in a bad, bad mood today. So
We're gonna delete that.
I'm not deleting it. It happens. So there you go.
But listen, so you remember the Jaws series?
Yeah,
Jaws.
yeah,
I
yeah.
never
And
watched Jaws.
Teresa, remember, I just came back from Boston and they make a big deal over Jaws there because that's where it was filmed.
Oh, I
So
didn't
I
know
saw
that.
a lot of Jaws memorabilia when I was
Oh,
away. Yeah.
well, my daughter she wanted one Saturday just to see all of them, the
Yeah.
whole series. We went to the
Yeah.
library
Yeah.
and actually picked up the movies, right?
Yeah.
And she camped out in the den and she was playing one behind the other one Saturday.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I didn't want to do it, first of all. But then, you try not to say, I mean, that was my fear, not hers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I happened to get a glimpse of Jaws, and then I realized, that thing looked like a puppet. It wasn't real.
Yeah,
It
now
was,
when you look at it,
yeah,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
was hilarious. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I was scared for that, no reason on that one. But I still, even with her watching, did not see an entire movie, but I did see scenes
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
movie because she was in the
Jaws
family
was
room.
huge when that
And
came out.
when
Yeah.
that song, dun 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 dun.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, isn't it something how people can be so creative and come up with, I mean, these stories and they can write, and then you bring in all of the other collaborators, the folks who can actually do the costumes and the music and put it all together where it just takes us there. We go on a journey with movies.
Storytelling.
Yeah, that's some amazing stuff.
That
Amazing
is.
stuff. So yeah. But that is my fear. Yeah.
Well, you know how I'm a one-trick pony. You've said it.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking
I
about.
don't mean to say it out loud, but apparently sometimes I do.
You do. You do. So, and it happened. It actually happened this week where was talking to a young lady, and it's also a personal worry of my own, is health anxiety, like fear of getting sick and old
Yeah.
as we age, right? Just
Yeah.
trying to make sure that, we maintain our health. And for me, one step further is, we're supposedly post-pandemic, but I I did, knock wood, thank you, Jesus, I have not had COVID. And
Right.
so
Right.
I have a fear of being in crowds now,
Yeah.
even to this day, for
Yeah.
fear that I'm going to get COVID because, a lot of coworkers, um, have had it recently that have
Yeah.
had not before had it.
Right. Right.
And so it's quite frightening for me. But the last year we were all still in masks. We were still being super careful. We were still social distancing. We were still, there was still some consciousness about the fact that this thing was here and impactful, right?
Right.
But now it's not. I mean, people are living their daily life as if it's back to
Yeah.
normal, like
Yeah. Yeah.
like pre-pandemic kind of
Yeah.
lifestyle stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not there, Lou. I'm
Yeah.
so worried. Whenever I fly and walk through the airport, I still wear a
Yeah.
mask. Worrying is almost as bad as the thing that you fear, or worse than the thing that you fear, right? Can be,
But
you know?
then, I mean, but that's a valid concern because, I mean, you haven't had it and you don't know how your body's going to react. I've had it, and so I have a good idea. Hopefully, if I ever got it again, my body will do what it did the first time. But I had a family member who recently had it, and she had a really rough time with it. So it's I when we just came back from Boston and we flew, that was a concern, being in the airport, that many people. But and I'm going to an event next week. My sister's having a party, a celebration. And I was thinking ahead of time, okay, am I gonna wear my mask doing this party? But even before that, I thought about the other day while I'm going home for this celebration, should I go to the stylist and let them do, give me a do for the celebration? And then I thought, no, she'll be too close to me. I
Hmm.
don't really, and I think about that. It's like, I don't really want to take that risk because I don't want to pick up something and I'm going to this celebration. So I'm trying to minimize risk of exposure where I can. And
Right.
so I mean, I'm still thinking about it too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So if you're dealing with a health anxiety, if you're worried about, um, if you have a fear, just know that sometimes the fear can cause if it's a chronic fear, if it
Mm-hmm.
creates chronic anxiety within you, it can cause you to have things like high blood pressure,
Yeah.
sleepless nights,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
um, tension headaches. It can even cause digestive problems,
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
and you make yourself vulnerable and you lower your immune system. So, in fact, you're putting yourself more at risk
So true.
of the thing that you're worried that you might
Yeah.
get. So,
Yeah.
um, so I just
Yeah.
want to caution
Yeah.
people about that and
Yeah.
try not to have that health anxiety. And like my mom, like just talking to her, there are things that worry her about her health and her not being able to, she lives alone right now and she
Yeah.
wants to remain independent in that way, but she worries about her health the
Right.
moment the
It's a
moment
valid, yeah.
she feels a little weak or something, and it just really worries her. And I'm sorry I brought us way down.
No, no, no. But that Teresa, that's a good point. It's a valid concern. Because remember, I told you recently there was this thing going on with my legs. So I went after I'd been sitting for a while, I'd be so stiff getting up. And I immediately went to the dark side. I was like, oh Lord, am I going to get to the point where I can't walk? Am I going to need be in a wheelchair? What is this? And so you start thinking about stuff and health. I mean, that's big because it fuels everything else. I mean, it fuels our life. It's so dependent on how well we are and where we are in terms of our health and well-being. That determines what else we're capable of doing, our lifestyle, all of that. So, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that is it's a scary thing, but I tell you, you made me think. My other thing that I'm scared of is running out of money in retirement.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah, yeah.
that when you get to the point where you're older, and particularly me, I've retired. I'm not in the workforce anymore. So you plan as best you can, but the reality is you hear about it every day, something catastrophic happening, particularly medically, and with medical costs so high in this country that I think about that. It's
Well,
like that is scary to me because you plan, you do all of this, you sacrifice to get to a certain point, but things can come out of nowhere to derail even the best plans. So that is like a horror story movie to me
oh
because
yeah.
that frightens me. And that has been the thing that sometimes keeps me up at night when I think about that. And I think about it because I know good people who've done all the right things and they planned, and something has happened to family friend members and friends, which has just put such a stress on their lifestyle and their ability to just take care of basic needs as they live and age. So that to me is my other horror story.
Right.
Something happening in my, retirement. Yeah.
So that has happened to me, to a family member,
Mm-hmm.
my mom, and it's real.
It's
It's
very
really
real.
real.
Yeah.
Like, I have to reframe the way she speaks because she's accustomed to having a bank account with a certain level of
Yeah.
funds in it.
Yeah.
And right now she doesn't. And so she's like, I'm
It's
broke.
scary.
Well, you're not broke.
Right. Right.
So stop saying that and it's going to be okay. And I can say that, right? But it doesn't she is her feeling. It's the way she feels. And she has anxiety around that
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
point where, Lou, we're actually getting her a therapist so she can
Yeah.
talk through
It's
these things
yeah.
because it's actually causing her to lose sleep at night.
Right.
It's
Right.
causing her not to want to eat. Her appetite is impacted. It's impacting her in ways that are very, very not helpful and can cause other problems. So
What? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're working on her, and we're my brothers and I, we're gonna, and I'm like, Mom, as long as you got us, you good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You
Right. Right.
you
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
anything
Thing
to
to be.
worry about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So, but it's real for her.
I'm telling you, that's very, very real. Because Teresa, remember, I mentioned to you maybe last week or the week before, I woke up one morning and I was sitting there just thinking, I've been retired for a while now. And what if something happens and I have to go back in the workforce? And I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, that's a scary thought.
Luke, don't
So
worry about that.
yeah, so yeah.
Don't worry about that, because I can see you being an excellent greeter at Walmart.
You think I can do it?
I think you could do it.
I think I could pull that off.
I mean, all you
But
got to do is say hello. I mean, I have thought about it, Lou.
see, there you go, minimize it. There is more skill to that than it appears. I'm telling you, you have to be a
I
people person. You know, I have a thing about germs, so you know I don't want to even talk to people. Really, Teresa, you can see me as a greeter.
oh,
They'd
well,
have to
baby.
put me in a bubble. I could do it from do it from there, but I just told you I won't even go to the stylist because I don't want anyone that close up on me to even
Look,
style my hair.
well, I
And Lord
guess
knows I need it, and nobody's sending any comments about, Lord, you need to go. I didn't ask about that. I'm just talking about my fears.
I guess I'm projecting because I've given it some thought. I mean, that could be in my future if I need, because I would love to stand at the door and welcome people into Walmart
Well, I tell you what, I
and
went.
Costco. I could do that.
Well, I already got my job lined up if I need to. I actually think I would do very well as a receptionist at a health club. You know, I
Oh,
like that kind of environment. I
yeah,
like to see people taking care of themselves. So do that and be
yeah,
happy doing that.
yeah.
And if they let me work out for free, that's another bonus. So listen, I got plans if things
Right.
happen, Teresa.
So
And I
greet.
don't need you interjecting what you think I might be capable of doing. I got my own skills and I know how to assess, ma'am, what I can
I
do.
I was
Okay?
just trying to
Don't
help.
try to help me. I see what kind of friend you are. Yeah,
Hey, Lou,
okay.
Lou. Okay, Lou, check this out. I met a young girl, and it's so funny that we're talking about this. I met a young girl this week who has a fear of trying new foods,
Really? Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
fear of trying new foods.
Hmm.
You can see that? You've heard of that?
Well, no, not a fear. I've just heard of people who just don't do it because they don't want to, but not a fear of it.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't want it. And I'm like, is it a texture thing? No. It's just, she's just worried that it won't taste good, you know? And I'm
Well, it's
like,
not her last meal, is it?
no, I'm like, have you ever tried something new where you didn't like the taste? And she said, yeah. And I get that. Yeah, I can see that. But she literally will not try new foods. I'm like, you have to expand your palate. You can't just eat. And
Yeah,
I'm speaking from experience on this one. She's young.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
young. And when I'm talking young, she's in her 20s.
yeah.
So right now it's not a problem. And you should be taking, if you're only eating what I'm seeing that you're eating, you need to take a multivitamin. You're going to have to supplement in other ways because
And see,
you're not eating enough to keep yourself well, right?
and Teresa, remember I did a blog on, and I think it's called, folks can check it out. It's called I Changed My Mind. And in that blog, I talk about when I was young, growing up, I absolutely hated celery. If
Mm.
celery was in any dish, that was a no for me. My mom would make potato salad, and mine had to be separated because I was not going to eat that. And that went on for years. And then when I started hearing about the health benefits of celery, and my mind started shifting more to, Lou, you don't really eat for pleasure like you've been eating all these years. You're eating to stay healthy, to fuel your body with proper nourishment. And so as that shifted a bit, I decided to give celery another try. And now I love it. I love it cooked. I love it in dishes. I can eat it by itself. I don't even need it with peanut butter or dressing or any kind of dip. I can just chunk on celery as a snack. And I hated it, absolutely hated it for years. So you're right. You try different things because you want to make sure you're fueling your body with proper nutrition. And many times that looks different and it requires variety. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
hope I hope I managed to get through to her. And we happened to be um eating at the time, and I had hummus on my plate.
yeah.
And she said, I have seen people love hummus. I have seen so many of my friends love it. I have never tasted it and I would never taste it. I said, today you're going to try some hummus.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I am. I said, yes, ma'am. Unless you think it's going to make you sick,
Uh-huh.
then let's try some hummus. What
Uh-huh.
harm could it do? Right?
Right. Yeah.
And and she was like, okay. And she got the hummus and she took a little bit of it on the fork and she put just a dabble on her tongue and she absolutely liked the flavor.
Oh,
So she got some more of the
yeah.
hummus,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So she did try it. Nothing happened to her. She didn't get sick. I saw her the next day. She
Yeah.
was well.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and that is something new that she's now adding to her uh, repertoire of the few foods that she eats. I'm like, oh my
Wow.
goodness,
Yeah.
and so
And that
hopefully,
happens. That happens to kids, but usually the older you get, you sort of move away from that. Kids can be very, very picky and
picky.
limited in their choices, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they can be, but if you allow them to be, like if
Yeah.
you give it to them and that's all they have, they'll eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
witness.
Well,
I
and
hope
the
that wasn't
more they
abuse.
see, no, and the more they see you, the adults, the parents eating a variety of foods, healthy foods, they pick that up.
Yeah,
They pick it up. So yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. I tell you what, folks, that's it for us today. We're talking about things that scare us here. Here at Earrings Off. The thing that scares me is that if I hit hard times, my partner's solution is for me to be a greeter, and she knows I have a thing about germs and being around a lot of people. A lot of fat help. You are Teresa. But again, that's our episode, and we will deal with that little issue offline. Thanks so much, folks, for joining us here today at Earrings Off.
Take good care.